Hey there, folks. Randy Reed for Dojo Nation, Coffee and a Tip with a Karate Guy. This week, we're going to talk about one of the major life-changing events that happened to me 30 plus years ago, almost 40 years ago. Also got a great tip for you. If you're online, if you're doing any kind of writing, this has been invaluable to someone like me who didn't do all that well, better, more in English in high school. Randy Reed coming up. Dojo Nation, Coffee and a Tip. Hey there, Dojo Nation. So, as you know, we're going with a different format. We're not drinking coffee these days. Last week we were drinking Heineken. This week I think we're going to go with the Mexican theme, a little Modelo beer, and we'll have a great time here in the jungle. So, listen, a story I wanted to share with you. I was talking with one of my friends this week about education, about the learning process we all go through as we're developing our businesses, our schools. So many years ago, this would have been back in it would have been in the middle 80s. There was a gentleman named Jun Rhee. You've probably heard of him. He was one of the founding members of martial arts in the United States. He was out of Washington, D.C. The argument is given that he's the gentleman who brought Taekwondo to the United States. I had the pleasure of knowing him for many years and a very impressive gentleman. Now, he had, back in those days, very few people had successful martial arts schools, and very, very few people had more than one school. He had, I don't know what it was, 5, 6, 7 schools in the Washington, D.C. area with just an incredible staff. Now, all the staff went on to become legendary martial artists in their own right. They had Jeff Smith, they had John and Pat Worley, Larry Carnahan, Gordon Franks. There was a bunch of real high level martial artists out there, and these guys were so far ahead of their time and so impressive. And so when I heard that Grandmaster Rhee was going to do a 3-day event down in Austin, Texas. Now, granted, this is July, and I'm from Wisconsin. I jumped at the chance to go down there. My school was struggling at that time. I ran it more as a gym, as a club. And so I flew down there, and he held the event at a friend of his school, another Korean gentleman. It was a beautiful, huge Quonset hut. Quonset huts, if you don't know, are made out of tin. Texas in the summer, if you don't know, is hot as it can possibly be. Now, the other thing they neglected to tell us, about 40 of us showed up that weekend, was the school just wasn't quite done yet. It had the roof. It was missing, what was it? Oh, yeah, bathrooms. And it was missing showers. And the mats weren't down yet, just strictly carpet. So about 40 of us, men and women, moved into this place for the weekend. Now, on my way out of town in Madison, I had just happened to grab and roll up a piece of foam for the heck of it. I didn't think I needed it, but I thought I'd brought it along. That piece of foam, after a couple nights sleeping on that carpet, I could have sold it for $100,000. So, so the event starts. Now, Jun Rhee, Grandmaster Rhee, was very successful. But in the prior years, he kind of turned over all operations of his schools to this wonderful staff. That's one of the reasons they were so successful. And they had developed a lot of systems and protocols and programs for him. So I didn't know that. So we get down there, we get a good martial arts workout, everybody's sweated up, we sit down, now the learning is going to begin. Mr. Rhee pulls out the manual that one of his staff had written, opens this, tells us all to open to chapter 1, and begins reading in broken English. And I thought, he can't possibly going to do this for the whole weekend. Well, he was. So everything was broken up into like half-hour segments, and I was really mad. I could have read the manual at home. So after every segment, I'd check it off. That one done, that one done, and I was just smoking. But then I decided I'm not going to go home early. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to guts this out. Now remember, oh, I don't know if I told you, there was no air conditioning. There was a spigot outside, like you connect a hose to. That was the only source of water for all of us for the weekend. There was one porta potty. So it was getting pretty uncomfortable as after a couple days, and the porta potty's getting full. Up this alley, you walked up the hill in the 100-degree weather. There was a like a convenience store where we could use the bathroom. In that convenience store, they had a big redwood tub full of ice and full of beer. And every day I would walk up there and look at that beer, and that was my goal when this thing finished up. That was going to be my first stop. So what happened is I go through this process, and I'm reading the manual with him as he reads through it. I'm getting more and more upset. On the final day, he said, "All right, we're going to have the gentleman who owns that school. I wish I could remember his name. Korean gentleman. He was going to have his students do a karate demonstration, and then we're all going to get our awards for completing the course." So I just about left there, but I thought I'll just sit and watch the demo quick. These guys came out and at the time did what ended up being a life-changing demonstration. These kids were so disciplined, so structured, so enthusiastic, so impressive. The way they moved, the way they stood, attention, bow, bam, boom, boom, they all moved crisp. It was amazing to watch the way they worked. And I went, that's what I want my students to look like. That's the structure, discipline, and type of students I want to have. It made the whole weekend worth it. It made all the suffering well worth it. I came back from that event after I stopped by that big tub of beer and completely changed the direction of my school, which in turn changed the direction of my life. We ended up with 20-some schools, a much better program for the students. So the moral of the story here is we never know where that diamond of information is going to come from. We never know when something is going to present itself as an opportunity for us to learn that can completely change the direction of our lives and several other people's lives along with it. If I would have quit, if I wouldn't have gutsed it out, if I didn't have an open mind, if I didn't have a strong desire to learn, that's what got me down there in the first place, nothing would have happened. So as we are going through these challenging times, other opportunities are going to show up. Other ways to do what we do better is going to show up. We are going to be more efficient. We're going to be more lean. We're going to provide a better service. So let's go at this thing looking for the diamonds and not just screaming about the fact that we've got 40 people using one outhouse. Okay, I got a great tip of the week coming up here for you. We're going to talk about a way that somebody can look over your shoulder and help you with your writing. Lord knows I need it. All right, gang, Randy Reed here with this, another quick little tip. Now, a lot of you might already know this, but I didn't know it until I knew it. So I use a thing called Lightshot. Let me pull it up here. It's a screen capture tool. It works on both Mac and Win. This thing works really slick. So if I have something I want to send a friend or something I've seen, let's say I go to this wonderful event, Cause Talks, and I want to send this picture, all I have to do is click after I've downloaded it. All I do is click this little feather up here, bang. Now it says select area. I'm going to select this whole area, this picture. Now I can either save it and put it on my desktop for futures, or I just click here and that copies it. So now I copy it. Maybe I want to send it to a friend. So I go to, what do you call it? Compose, and I can pop it right on there. Boom, there's the picture and away I go. So it's a slick little tool, and hope it's something that you find useful. Just another little one of my little toys that I found as I've been playing around online. Over and out.